Hi, my name's Attacking Toucans, and I'm excited to present to you Let's Build the Ultimate Resort and Planet Coaster 2. Now we finally got a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, Planet Coaster, and the sequel adds water parks, pools, and everything related to water, while also adding tons of features that Planet Coaster fans have been asking for a very long time. And I decided to create an ultimate resort starting off because I felt like it would be a good project to highlight all of the new features that Planet Coaster 2 added. Now, I am known for some other Planet Coaster series such as Let's Build the Ultimate Theme Park, Indoor Theme Park, and a Tiny Park Challenge where I went hard. And my goal now is to take everything I learned from those projects and apply what I've learned to creating even cooler stuff in Planet Coaster 2. And look, we already have busloads of people coming through to help us build this resort. I also want to introduce you to my pet toucan, Tombre. They're going to be my main way to communicate to you all through text, just in case I need to spell anything out. Now let's go ahead and get to work. I'm going to start off by clearing out all the land and doing some major excavation work. We're going to grade all of this land at a higher elevation. That way the entire resort can sit up a little bit higher, so it'll have a grander presence whenever people are walking up to it. I'm also using this new super amazing tool the game added called the scenery brush, where I can just paint tropical trees, bushes, and rocks. In Planet Coaster 1, it might take hours to naturalize an area and make a forest, but in this game you can make a forest in 1 minute. It's an amazing time saver. Another revolutionary update this game adds is the ability to scale scenery. So along with using the nature brush, I just put some giant rocks and trees around this to really just fill it up and make it look like our resort was surrounded by a nice rainforest. Now, one of the most exciting things they upgraded about Planet Coaster 2 is the pathing tools. They added so many more options and you have so much flexibility and you can do almost anything that you want. They also added a lot of new textures, and a majority of these textures are recolorable as well, meaning there's so many more ground options. My favorite path tools are the Stamp tool and the Stamp Erase tool. You can use the Stamp to fill up areas really quickly, and then the Stamp Erase tool to erase little sections for you to build scenery within. The Line tool is also super nice because you can make it straight or curved, and it's good for adding elevation to things. If you keep the incline shallow, it'll be a ramp, but if you make it steep, it'll make it stairs automatically. And I like how simple and intuitive the terrain tools are. Really easy to fill up the land underneath the path to make it look like the paths are going up a hill. And we'll put a pool of water down here at the bottom that we'll use for some spillage. Now, the reason I'm building an ultimate resort right now instead of another ultimate theme park is because I want to wait for this game to get more DLC and more updates before I start a project as big as the ultimate theme park. Right now, with the current scenery and features that Planet Coaster 2 has, I felt like an ultimate resort was the perfect type of build for me to practice this game, for me to build some water parks, and to test a lot of the new features that this game has to offer. Now, in the future, once this game has more updates, more bug fixes, and more DLC packs, I will start another ultimate theme park, but I'm going to give that one some time. So I built the exoskeleton for the opening lobby and entrance of the resort, and I filled it up with the Path Stamp tool, and now I'm using the Stamp Delete tool to trim around the edge of the building so the path perfectly fills the building. I love this feature so much, it's going to make it so much easier to perfectly fill a room with the path. If you see anybody complain about the pathing system for this game, it's because they're afraid of greatness. Now, something that's super revolutionary is I can take another path texture and I can draw another path on top of my current path, and this one is entirely decorative. I'm just putting this here because I wanted to break up the monotony. And I'm going to mirror the same thing on the opposite side. And then overall, I wasn't a huge fan of the textures, so I used this paintbrush tool and I repainted all of the cobblestone into a nice wooden floor. In the new path texture that I added, I painted another wooden floor that's going perpendicular to the other one, and it makes the accent path still noticeable, but way more subtle and like something that you have to catch, but when you notice it, you're like, ah, that looks cool. Because if this were to be built in real life, to do something like that would take pretty good craftsmanship. And I'm building a giant circular reception desk. This is where the guests will check into their rooms. And then I put a roof in place because on top of it, I'm gonna build up some more terrain and build up another pool of water because I wanna have a waterfall flowing off the front of this resort. As far as inspiration is concerned, I have several things I'm inspired by. The first major thing is hotels in Las Vegas. Now, I'm not really a big fan of casinos or gambling or that sort of thing, but I love walking around Las Vegas because the architecture, decoration, engineering, and just entertainment there is out of this world. It literally feels like you're on another planet. It's sort of like a Times Square feel, where it feels like you're experiencing something that you'd only want to experience on vacation and not in your regular life. One resort that I've been to but never stayed at that I think is really good inspiration is Atlantis in Nassau, Bahamas. That resort is beautiful and really sticks its theming. One of my favorite things they have there is a super huge aquarium with a large variety of tropical fish. Now, a stranger inspiration I have is I grew up in Springfield, Missouri, around the Branson area, and I was risen around the original Bass Pro Shop. And the guy who started Bass Pro started a resort called Big Cedar, and my family went there every once in a while. And Bass Pro and Big Cedar are really cool because they really infuse wildlife and camping into their decorations, and it feels almost seamless. And with this resort, I'm trying to copy that sort of aesthetic, but with more tropical vegetation. Something that Bass Pro and Big Cedar do really well is combine nature and architecture. Planet Coaster is ultimately a theme park building game, and it has water parks. So I'm just inspired by theme parks and water parks, including Disneyland and Universal, and I'm gonna try to take some inspiration from those locations and infuse them into this build. And on top of that, I have you all watching, the audience, to give me ideas down in the comment section. This first episode's comment question of the day is, what would you like to see in your dream resort? What's an attraction a resort could provide that would make it worth the value for you? For me, I want a really good music venue. I really enjoy live music, and the more places where I can watch live music, the better. And I always love when tourism money is reinvested into human musicians, because they need it. Now, for a quick little theme park simulation history, I was born in the 90s, and I grew up with the original Roller Coaster Tycoon game with the DLCs, and then I was with it every single game. My neighbors and I had Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I was in junior high when Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 came out, and I was all over that. At the end of high school, I made my first Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 series where I built a mega park in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I was in college when Planet Coaster came out, and a few months after that came out, I started my Ultimate Theme Park series. It took me several years, but we got it done. And Planet Coaster 2 came out when I was 30 years old. Planet Coaster 2 came out at the end of 2024, and I waited several months before starting the series because when this game came out, it was pretty buggy and lackluster, and I think the main reason for this is because they released the game on a rush deadline, and it came out on PC and console on release. Ultimately, I feel pretty bad for the developers because you can tell that they really tried, and they are making it up to their player base by continuously doing updates and bug fixes for free. And when this game was initially released, I was definitely worried because it was lacking quite a few important things. But the developers worked hard and they have fixed almost every issue, and within the next few months, every single main issue that this game faced should be completely fixed. In a future episode, I'll really break this down, but for now, I'm gonna say that personally, I think this game has a really strong future. So I'm gonna take a quick break from building on the main structure, and we're gonna start putting together a restaurant. Throughout this resort, I want to have several restaurants of various sizes, some very luxury, some cafes for you to grab a quick bite to eat. And I'm even leaving a space for us to build a kitchen, and I'm going to put a staff room back here so the staff will legitimately walk back here to take a rest. Now, something that Planet Coaster 2 doesn't have yet, that Planet Zoo has, is open restaurants and kitchens that the guests can use. I'll show some screenshots real fast of what it looks like in Planet Zoo, and I'm gonna build this resort as if they're gonna add that as a future update, because I'm really confused as to why that's not a feature in the base game of Planet Coaster 2 to begin with. Gonna have some counters to order at, we'll put some tables around the whole thing. Some condiment tables, some drink machines. And honestly, during this first episode, I was experimenting with different types of ways of recording the building process. Sometimes I was cutting together a time lapse, and other times I was building, deleting, and then pressing the undo button really fast. And I'm gonna put some trees inside because I think indoor nature just looks really cool. If you have any critical feedback on the production of this video, let me know. I'm trying to make the series as awesome as possible. Also, I guess the park is open by default because we already have a lot of people in here, all up in our business. And they're not helping build nothing, they're just meandering through. But it is cool to see the people interacting and doing stuff. Okay, so now on this very, very top level, this is where we're gonna have all of the penthouses and suites for the people to stay at. On the upper ring of this entire structure, I wanna have suites with balconies off of them, so we can take advantage of the beautiful panoramic view around this resort. And all of the rooms have to be elevated so the guests can have the most spectacular view possible. So now I'm sectioning off the levels of the main atrium. In the entrance, we have the lobby, and then this main atrium is going to be very, very large, and it's going to separate off into a concert venue, gaming areas, shopping districts, restaurants. There's going to be an indoor theme park, some pools and spas, and a large water park. And of course, I'll try to implement the ideas that you guys present in the comments. So the super large, grandiose entrance is called the Façade. It's supposed to be the giant eye catcher, because in most tourist areas with resorts, there's some competition for tourism. The spot we built this resort is a bit more secluded, and also, I forgot to mention, I already have a name for it. The official name for this resort is Tropicano Moderno. It can also be pronounced Tropicano. Those will be the three main descriptive words of this resort. Now, something new that I'm going to do for this series is I'm going to make it a bit more collaborative by having little contests each episode that you can enter into yourself. I think it'll be more fun to make this a bit more of a collaborative effort, so the first contest is going to be to create a sign for Tropicano Moderno. I want the sign to be sized 3 wall pieces by 8 wall pieces. And when you upload it to the Planet Coaster 2 Workshop, put the word TMContest in the title, that way I can search it up. The contest will end 10 days after this video is published, and we'll look at the submissions and choose the winner as a community. And we'll probably use more than just one of the signs in this build. In fact, if you want to make any sort of signage for a Tropicano Moderno, go ahead, make it up and send it to me. If you don't want to do it in Planet Coaster and you just want to do something with graphic design or drawing, just draw something up and send it my way. I'm able to put image billboards in this park, so we can fill this park up with your creations. I think if I focus on a collaborative effort for this project, we'll get it done a lot faster and it'll be way cooler. So you have 10 days, upload it to the workshop, and make sure TM Contest are in the title. That stands for Tropicano Moderno Contest. Also, it has to be stated, the day I'm uploading this video is the day that I think Planet Coaster 2 is officially worth getting. On Friday, February 14th, Frontier dropped their second major update for the game, fixing a lot of the major problems in the PC version of the game. And I bring this up because this update also adds video and picture billboards where you can upload your own pictures and video onto screens. I'm sure a lot of you heard a lot of mixed reactions to the drop of this game when it was first released. And I think that's because the rush deadline made the PC version of Planet Coaster 2 initially like an alpha release. But the update that just came out today makes the PC version of the game what we would expect from a release version of Planet Coaster 2. And we know that they're still working on it and have several more updates coming. So thank you so much, Frontier, for working on this game continuously. I hope you work on it for years to come because I think this game has a lot of potential. When this game was first announced, I didn't realize how nice it looked until I went back and played Planet Coaster 1 and filmed some footage for my indoor theme park that I'm finishing up. Whew, when I compare the footage on both series, I'm like, dang, the lighting in Planet Coaster 2 looks so much cleaner. Overall, even though this game didn't launch perfectly, it is the next generation theme park development game we've been waiting for. It includes water parks, all the new coaster elements we've been asking for, customizable coaster cars and flat rides. We got the nature brush, scalable scenery, and a much needed upgrade to the lighting system. If they keep working on this game for the next few years, it's going to be godly. The original Planet Coaster is already such a tremendous game, so this game has so much potential if they can continue to lock in like they have been. I'm ready to lock in too. Something else I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a second Let's Play of this series in a vertical fashion as well, where I'm going to split these episodes into bite-sized 1-minute snippets so I can get some of this Planet Coaster 2 content in front of some of the scrollers out there. I'm one of those scrollers, and I know the only way my mom is ever going to see any of these videos is if it's a vertical reel. I can't get her to watch a regular YouTube video no more. Turning her phone sideways is too much of an ask. But it's my goal to make these long-form videos as good and professional as possible and use the short-form videos to be a little bit more rambunctious. I also need to make these videos good because I need to upgrade my computer again. My current PC was built back in 2019, so it's about time. Fortunately, my computer is still holding on, but it's starting to show signs. If you want to help fund my goal of buying a new PC, you can support me on Patreon. I'll put a link down in the description. And this is what we have for the end of episode 1. We have completed the basic frame of the frontal facade. It still needs a sign, but that is why we are doing the sign contest. I recorded this episode before the new update today, but apparently the new update makes the guests disperse in a much more natural fashion instead of them all just walking in the same line. I'm really excited with how this has started. The frontal facade looks amazing, and I'm even more excited for the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to help support this series, all you gotta do is hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below to help support. I'm curious, are you all playing this game yourself, or are you just here to watch some videos? That being said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.